Surrounded by the waters of the Summer Sea, northwest of the continent of Sotorios, was the island of Naath, also known as the Isle of Butterflies, populated by the Naathi, who have been described as beautiful and gentle, with flat faces, golden eyes, and dusky skin. Rejecting violence in all forms, the people have committed to pacifism, refusing to do harm, even in self-defense. Unwilling to harm animals for food, they were said to eat fruit, not flesh, and make music, not war. As their culture developed over thousands of years, they came to revere the butterflies of the island as messengers of the Lord of Harmony, the god they believed created the universe and everything within. Working on behalf of their maker, the butterflies also act as protectors, preventing outsiders from conquering the island. Known to be clever and docile in nature, the Naathi were considered excellent slaves, highly valued all over the world, including the pleasure houses of Ghis, famed for their Naathi women wearing butterfly wings. However, every attempt to settle the island, establish a colony, or even a trading post has ended in disaster, as outsiders would soon develop an illness called butterfly fever if they stayed on the island for a prolonged period of time. This terrible disease started with a fever, before causing its victims to flail around like they're dancing, then sweating blood and feeling the flesh fall from their bones. Due to this malady, the Naathi claim no strangers have lasted longer than a year on the island. However, many were originally unaware of the danger, and so a number of attempts were made to conquer the island, each ending in death and retreat. It is believed the Ghis were the first foreign power to discover Naath, and so the Old Empire made 3 separate attempts at conquest, each ending in failure. When the Dragon Lords of the Valyrian Freehold rose to prominence, they too attempted to maintain a presence on the island, building a fort of fused dragonstone. But again, they were forced to abandon their mission. Next came adventurers from Volantis, who managed to build a small trade town with timber palisades and slave pens, before having to leave it all behind. Roughly 700 years before the Targaryen conquest of Westeros, the Rhoynar people were invaded and conquered by the ever-expanding Valyrian Freehold, forcing the survivors to flee their homeland and find a new place to settle, following their leader Princess Nymeria aboard 10,000 ships. After departing from Essos, the Rhoynar initially traveled to the Basilisk Isles and then Sotorios, but were unable to create a permanent settlement due to the many dangers from natives, wildlife, disease, and pirates. This then led them to journey to the island of Naath, where the population welcomed them with open arms. However, the Rhoynar soon began to lose their people to the butterfly fever, and so were forced to once again board their ships and continue seeking a new home, eventually settling in Dorne. Over the years, many pirates also made a number of failed attempts to settle the island. However, they soon realized that it was safer and more profitable to simply raid them in the middle of the night, capturing as many Naathi slaves as possible and sailing back out to sea before the sun rose. Despite the occasional raid or attempt at conquest, before the doom of Valyria, many of the Naathi lived on the coastlines of their island, trading silk and spiced wine to foreign merchants. However, with the fall of the Freehold and the outbreak of war across Essos during the Century of Blood, slavers drastically escalated their attacks, forcing the Naathi to retreat from their shores, moving inland to seek refuge in the hills and forests. Do your shopping on Amazon? Then why not use the link in the description box below to either the Canadian, American, or UK Amazon sites, where you support the channel with every purchase at no extra cost to you. So if you do your shopping on Amazon anyway, why not use the link below and help support CivilizationEx? A special thanks to all those who contribute to CivilizationEx, like Madam Faith, Winter Sorceress of House Scarisbrick, Warden of the North, and Keeper of the White Cloak, Michael the Stallion Sixsmith, Grand Maester Pupper of the Took, and Ryanon. If you would like to help CivilizationEx, click on the Patreon link, and please be sure to like and subscribe, and click on the links to see more.